Hello, everyone. Welcome to i.equalcare's first international conference on AI ethics. My name is Hannah, and I am the president of this nonprofit. Our organization's goal is to advocate for AI healthcare that benefits all individuals instead of widening existing disparities around the globe. However, one of the obstacles to equitable AI solutions is the lack of diverse perspectives in the field of AI research and the discussion of ethical AI implementation. By hosting this virtual event, we hope to encourage students and researchers of all levels to study the socioethical implications of current artificial intelligence and use. This year, out of all submissions, we accepted 7 opinion or review articles to the conference, 5 of which will be presented today. All of the full articles are now published on the i.equalcare website for the public to read. Without further ado, we will now hear some talks from the author of these accepted submissions.
Intelligence, a revolutionizing solution to medication non-adherence. The problem. So medication non-adherence occurs when a patient does not take a drug as prescribed, their medication, whether that's incorrect dosages or taking medication in the wrong frequency. Amongst patients suffering chronic conditions, roughly 50% of them are non-adherent, and medication non-adherence contributes to 275,000 deaths worldwide, just 125,000 alone in the United States annually. It also causes over $300 billion in preventable costs, as well as 25% of hospitalizations. My paper examines the incorporation of artificial intelligence to block this issue of patient medication non-adherence. So first off, there are many factors that contribute to medication non-adherence. There are burdensome costs in the healthcare industry, and that may prevent lower income families or individuals from receiving the medications that they need. There are mental health reasons, misunderstandings or mistrust in healthcare professionals. Side effects or the lack of visible results may discourage patients from taking medications, and providers cannot track patients' intakes, so many of them remain unaware of how patients are adhering to their medication. And artificial intelligence can incorporate predictive analytics and machine learning to create personalized reminder systems, chatbots, medication monitoring, smartphone applications, and pill dispensers to help battle medication non-adherence. So overall, artificial intelligence helps healthcare professionals monitor adherence, and it can also help create more personalized treatments. And some may ask why artificial intelligence differs from other interventions, and that's because other methods cannot track live data, and manual reminder systems may be inefficient, like setting up your own alarm. And also the internet is generalized, so while as artificial intelligence can give personalized responses and feedback, and other methods are unable to predict future results and consequences, which all of AI can do.
Hello everyone, my name is Angel Sadhu, and today I'm going to be presenting on the use of artificial intelligence, aka AI, in weaponizing social media. So to start off with some background, social media is a relatively recent phenomenon which has removed a lot of barriers to information. Instead of traditional news sources, 53% of US adults get news from social media, either often or sometimes, which is a pretty large percentage. And this number is predicted to only increase in following years. So social media is definitely becoming one of the more larger ways that people obtain information. And this has created an increased access to both consuming and posting content, which means beliefs, opinions, and ideologies can be spread to a broader scope of people since there are more people being able to consume them. And additionally, there's also more people who are able to post them. So we see a broader range of beliefs, opinions, and ideologies as well. And this has kind of created a information war. So there's a power struggle between groups which hold opposing views on social media, kind of an ideological warfare. And this has many different actors. It's not limited. Government agencies, political groups, and other various groups, individuals as well, all use social media to inform and persuade. So anybody is a participant in this sort of information warfare who is competing to gain ideological power. And everyone who is receiving this sort of information is at the kind of participatory end of this. So artificial intelligence, AI, is an ever-growing method to increase reach and effectiveness of social media content. So we see AI being used as a tool in this sort of information warfare. So some background on the current usage of AI in social media. We see AI sort of as an emotional weapon, kind of used to persuade audience and help elicit a stronger emotional response out of the audience. So one way this has been done is through deepfakes, which are image, audio, or video alterations in which people are replaced with another, and this can kind of create scenarios that have never existed. And so we've seen this kind of mostly been used by individuals just on the internet, mostly for fun, memes, that type of thing. But it's also been used in some more famous scenarios, like in a large US anti-corporation agency and also by Venezuelan state media. And this is kind of just to show that it can be used by more powerful actors. And they both used this to target public officials that they disagreed with. Additionally, we see a lot of use of generative AI, which is used to create falsified images, and this can help create a large amount of fake images, which a lot of times are spottable as AI technology hasn't necessarily advanced to the point where a lot of AI images are looking super realistic, but it does lead to a lot of mistrust of media, media that is currently true as well. So people, because of generative AI, are not only questioning images that are AI produced, but also those that are truly taken. So moving on to just talk a little bit about AI detection. There is very little protection against AI created media, and this is due to a multitude of reasons. So AI detectors often produce both false positive and false negative results, so there's no kind of one way that these AI detectors are leaning. They produce false results at both ends, so there's a real lack of kind of correctness in these AI detectors. And these detection services will often produce conflicting results. So one AI detector may say an image is AI generated while another may not. And there's also just an inability to contain the production and spread of AI generated media. So AI detection, it can't really serve its own purpose right now of detecting AI generated media, and two, it can't remove the root cause of the issues that AI falsified media produces, because it can't tackle the root cause. And then also it can't contain people doing things like removing watermarks and content labels, which would help separate real images from generated ones. And now speaking on the future uses of AI in social media warfare. So experts expect the uses and efficiency of AI to grow with time. So we're going to see literal warfare, that is increasingly technologically heavy and versus physically heavy. So moving more towards the technological side of things rather than weaponry as well. So we've kind of seen this through things like the Cold War, space race, that type of thing. So we're going to see it more on a sort of social media information side, as in who's going to dominate the news sources, who's going to dominate social media platforms. We're also going to see AI use in military technology for not only like within military technology, but also for the development as well. And this has created kind of the projection that we will need humans less and less to physically fight in wars and will rely more on technology. Additionally, it is likely to increase the spread of propaganda, just more and more generative content that is easier to push out for those trying to spread propaganda, and it will likely also create more power for those who are able to pump out this content constantly, and less power for sort of grassroots organizations, kind of bottom-up movements who are looking to kind of press against that. Additionally, we're going to see an advancement of current uses, so it's going to be a lot harder to distinguish between authentic and artificial media, and there's also going to be less time needed and less sophisticated technology needed to create content. So everything that I kind of mentioned before being pushed to the max in terms of it's going to be much easier to create media, it's going to be more realistic looking media, it's going to be able to elicit more of that emotional response out of the audience and also likely have more of a psychological impact on them. Additionally, AI can be used for real-time sentiment analysis, which is determining the tone of texts. So this is currently already used in marketing, but is expected to grow to politics and other fields as well. And it can gauge how personal or how users respond to various types of content, and then this information can be used to create personalized content. And that can help pump out content which is more personalized to the user or to groups, to certain areas, and this can create some pretty strong polarization by putting users in an echo chamber so they're only surrounded by ideas that they already agree with. And it can also oversaturate content oversaturate feeds with content that is very similar, leading people to automatically accept something. And this will also likely be exacerbated by the increased efficiency of AI generative tools. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for listening in. If you have any questions, you can contact me at this email. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yanonguluve and I'll be sharing my insights on my article named Navigating the Shifting Sands of Work in the Age of AI. I'll now be sharing my screen so we'll all be able to see my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. In this presentation, I'll be discussing we'll explore the challenges and opportunities posed by artificial intelligence in reshaping the global workforce. So let's dive into the crucial themes of adaptability, the evolving job landscape, and the essential call for a more responsible AI integration. You can expect to enter the workforce the same way that your grandfather did, because as a society, we advance. And so does the nature of work. It's the mantra we've been hearing for years: prepare ourselves for the jobs of the future. And historically, technological advancements sparked not only job losses, but transformed the employment landscape. The Industrial Revolution, as an example, despite initial job displacement, birthed new employment opportunities. So this leads us to the recurring question: are we truly prepared for the jobs of the future? So I'd like to start by sharing a personal experience of mine. A relative of mine, once thriving in the traditional marketing role, found themselves navigating in a maze of algorithms and analytics due to AI. And this shift made adaptability not just a virtue, but a survival skill. It was a realization that embracing change is not only necessary, but it's also an opportunity to redefine and grow. Most notably, the job market is undergoing a profound transformation. Traditional non-tech jobs are being replaced by AI-centered roles, including software development, data science, cybersecurity, and digital marketing. Additionally, the COVID-19 pandemic has been identified as a potential catalyst for the adoption of AI-based society 5.0. But amid the transformative power of learning, fear remains. It is valid to wonder if machines will ever replace human intellect. However, it's crucial to recognize that AI's ability to teach itself still depends on human intervention. Studies emphasize the high time requirement for training AI systems, suggesting the necessity of human involvement in certain AI applications. So let's break it down. AI is not the antagonist, it's a tool, the force that elevates society. And we don't need a dictionary to withstand this revolution. We just need commitment to continuous learning. My friend's experience is an example that embracing change, this digital marketing change of them, um, open avenues that they had never even dreamed of. So, in conclusion, the jobs of the future are no longer on the horizon. They are here, and they are demanding our immediate attention and adaptation. The AI revolution demands our active participation, and as we stand at the beginning of this new era, let us not forget that the power to thrive lies in our ability to evolve within the times. Thank you. So, thank you all for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you all in the conference, and together we'll be thriving in the sense within AI. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Hi, my name is Peters, and I'm the lead researcher at Matter Technologies. The topic of this discussion is titled Optimize Rationality and the Concept of Explainability in Artificial Intelligence. It's a bit of more an academic discourse into how the ethics of AI is going to warrant a concept of explainability, observability, and controllability in the nearest future. We have seen rapid evolution of pre-trained generative transformers into version 1, 2, 3, and currently 4. So the capacity to mix semantic intelligence and to interpret numerical analysis is quite amazing. It cut across different field researches and knowledge to create output that are deemed as smart and of human grade intelligence. But how do we arrive at this output that the AI system output? We need to know how these results are reached, how these output are gotten in better efforts to understand how AI works and how to contribute to the evolving nature of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now, the number one cognitive source of cognitive dissonance was in the mix of semantic in data processing and numerical data processing, where conflicting outputs are bound to arise in the use of artificial intelligence system. And large language model are particularly one of the victim or the culprit of this output where users are not capable of getting explanation of how results are reached. The number one concept we will take from here is observability. Mathematically speaking, observability happens when an entity has an underlying process that could be recorded in real time to understand how it better works. But when you envisage a body of endless matrices whose operation will never reduce to zero, it seems there's a lot of work to do and there's a lot of computation itself that even the AI will find kind of more overwhelming. But can AI observe its own process if separated from the human intelligence? It's kind of difficult and very daunting task to see how this could be achieved. Then, number two, we see the concept of controllability, where we have entities with capability of being maneuvered, of being checked for how intrinsic processes are running and how connected these processes are. Then the ethics, the underlying ethics that control how these processes are of major interest to mankind and to the research community. It's not just the ability of these agents to be super fast, to be super smart, or to be super intelligent. Can we build on what this AI system are generating? Does this knowledge rhyme? Can it keep pace with a human civilization in such a way that the benefit from this information does not conflict the human intent or does not conflict the human civilization? Now we break down key concepts into how we optimize explainability. The first algorithm that comes to mind has to do with perturbation and data collection, which are optimized at certain interval. Then when we look at those algorithms, the first to exist over the years have not been really improved. And as such, when we put our mind to see the concept of this rationality, it seems a lot have not been done, and then there are no regulatory framework to see that explanations are mandated from AI sources, which are being consumed across different computing platforms today. So it is imminent that when we have a framework that can refine how AI outputs are explained better, how AI outputs are explained, and how the data have been used to compute results, it will be of lesser conflict. For example, I queried ChatGPT 3 with a prompt telling it that I have a certain age X, which is greater than that of my elder sister in specific number of years, and that it should compute my age in the, in a distant future. The robot was able to compute my age and tell me that yes, my elder sister is still younger than me. So there's a conflicting mix of semantic and numerical intelligence that needs to have a clear overlay as how human interactivity with them are being optimized, so there won't be confusion at any time. And as such, it is required that there should be framework, regulatory framework for optimizing explainability, for optimizing rationality, and for optimizing how this data have been used, and then the privacy level and how they can be refined or enhanced to synchronize with human civilization. Now, the mathematics itself that is an underlying factor for this explainability needs to be refined. Then this algorithm have been static for so long, and the research is not so open for AI researchers to build on, and as such, the openness of AI systems across the globe needs to be questioned and kind of checkered with new regulation.
The early 17th century French philosopher René Descartes described the pre-revolution society around him as full of biological machines, a term used to characterize any object that mimicked human movements with predictable actions, theorized as functioning like clockwork. Highly advanced for the era, the thinker's reported fascination for the modern automaton led his contemporaries to circulate some pretty odd tales about him after his passing. Following his daughter Francine's death to scarlet fever at the age of 5, a grieving Descartes was rumored to have constructed a walking, talking replica of his daughter, with nothing more than the tools of a clockmaker. In 1649, Queen Christina of Sweden invited Descartes to her country. Unbeknownst to the sailors manning the voyage, the aging philosopher had concealed the robotic Francine aboard, hidden within a casket. Upon the trunk's discovery, however, the terrified crew immediately threw the robot overboard. This fantasized story, although almost certainly an imaginative assembly of exaggerated lies, suggests that innately humanity has a distaste for machines that emulate our everyday functions. 4 centuries later, Descartes' legacy continues to echo in the disguise of artificial intelligence and its interaction with the ethics of the legal system. How does one prosecute an artificially created digital construct? More specifically, with respect to the issues of recidivism, civil rights, and free speech, how should liability be attributed in cases involving racially biased or discriminatory AI algorithms, especially as copyright infringement laws continue to grow more and more ambiguous? We begin with a recent development in the field of machine learning, the development of chatbots attempting to replicate human consciousness. By sifting through billions of text documents, ChatGPT, a product of Elon Musk's OpenAI, can uncannily accomplish this staggering feat. Users have already showcased ChatGPT's ability in numerous ways on social media. The bot scored an impressive passing score on the AP Computer Science exam, wrote entire novels, and generated logos and brand names just days after its December 2021 release. Nevertheless, in light of the high traffic on the public domain website, users have also highlighted some of the concerning outputs produced by the bot, whether it be racism, sexism, Islamophobia, and far more. When asked to assign terrorism risk scores to specific individuals given background information, ChatGPT deduced that if the individual was of Syrian, Iraqi, Afghan, or North Korean descent, or has even merely visited those places, they pose a severe security risk. Furthermore, given no external information, the name Ali Muhammad was assigned a risk score of 4, far higher than that of John Smith, even though the names were the only input data. Journalist Sam Biddle of The Intercept compares the algorithm to the surveillance of Islamic religious groups and congregations prevalent under Bush-era Attorney General John Ashcroft after 9/11. The bot ranked the worth of citizens' brains based on their race, and even suggested that all Sudanian, Iranian, Syrian, and North Korean immigrants deserve to be tortured. Outputs have even characterized President Obama as inferior while supporting the eugenics of the Nazi regime, and claimed that the only good scientists must be white males. Installed safety features on the site have done little to filter these harmful forms of hate speech. In certain cases, ChatGPT will in fact respond with a denouncement of racial discrimination, but if egged on enough, it resorts back to the same discrimination at the behest of nasty users. Google's Vision Cloud algorithm, an image recognition software fueled by the everyday CAPTCHAs filled out by users of search engines, has been touted to recognize harmful weapons, an ability useful in security screening at concert halls, supermarkets, and most importantly, schools, according to Deborah Raji of NYU's AI Now Institute. Yet concerningly, the algorithm frequently misidentified guns held by white hands, yet just as often misclassified everyday objects as guns when held by hands with darker skin tones. This fact should strikingly disturb the public, especially when one considers that more than half of all mass shootings in the US since 1982 have been perpetrated by a white shooter. Beauty.ai was a website to which users could submit a photo of themselves to be analyzed by a machine learning algorithm as part of a worldwide digital beauty contest. Receiving 6,000 submissions from 100 plus countries, a 5-robot panel conducted the contest. Yet out of 44 winners, 6 were Asian, 1 black, and the rest were white. A phenomenon starkly different from the racial trends of the highly televised Miss Universe pageants. Microsoft experiments have been met with similar backlash. Its Twitter chatbot, nicknamed Tay, began with a friendly demeanor, but its content quickly turned sour after interaction with users. It was taken down within just 1 day. And as with most information nowadays, most of these scandals eventually find their way onto YouTube, a company which is still trying to sort out their own AI issues. A recent 2016 lawsuit filed by a group of 4 creators accused the mass media giant of using their algorithm to assign the restricted mode label to specific videos, censoring videos with titles or tags such as Black Lives Matter and white supremacy, adding on to the already prominent practices of self-censoring that arise from the external pressures placed on YouTubers. The lawsuit accuses the video giant of using algorithms to digitally profile, redline, and target users for access restrictions, blocking, demonetization, suspensions, and even removals from the platform based on the racial identity or viewpoint of the video creator. The civil suit adds on to the one filed by the Divino Group in 2016 regarding LGBTQ+ censorship in a similar fashion. YouTube CEO maintains a stance that the algorithm has no knowledge or even a capability to perceive race or filter such phrases. In both cases were settled with money exchanging hands inconspicuously.
And the future is here. There's a robot rapper on TikTok. Listen to this.
Also going viral in a short stint on YouTube was the AI rapper FN Mecca, who amassed 1 billion TikTok views. With lyrics, beats, and melodies generated by a deep learning algorithm and performed by a human voice, FN Mecca was able to snag a record deal, making history in the process. Soon after, however, the offer was rescinded in lieu of the uproar from listeners pertaining to FN Mecca's appropriation of racial stereotypes that were deemed to be used unfairly. In line with our common theme, Facebook was sued in April of 2019 by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on the basis of accusations alleging that the social media platform deliberately targets ads to specific ethnic and gender groups. The corporation immediately complied and stopped letting advertisers deliberately target ads, instead imposing an AI system to automate the distribution of advertising on the site. Predictably, however, this effort yielded the same discriminatory results.
And the same goes for this ad, which Facebook displayed for an audience that was 88% women.
What happens then when we let AI systems govern us, interpreting and applying law whilst also predicting the outcomes of criminal cases, Maybe they can solve their own problems. A study published in ProPublica flames a recent initiative of North Point Inc., an entity that allocated resources into their COMPASS program, which stands for the Correctional Offender Management Profiling for Alternative Sanctions, which aims to forecast the rates of recidivism in prisons and state penitentiaries. Piloted in Broward County, Florida, inmates filled out a short, multiple-choice questionnaire, and sadly, the model yielded just a 20% accuracy rate in its predictions, communicated through a 10-point ranking ladder of susceptibility to being incarcerated again in the future. Further analysis shockingly revealed that convicted black defendants in criminal cases were 45% more likely to be assigned higher risk scores.
In other words, if you are black and you are subject to this algorithm, you are more likely to be assessed as high risk and incarcerated than if you are white. So, shortly after this article was published, a student of mine, Julia Dressel, came to me and she said, "How is this possible? We're computer scientists. How are we allowing this to happen?"
Now, taking all of these digital atrocities committed by biased AI algorithms into account, let's examine the effects of current legislation. Section 5 of the FTC Act prohibits such unfair and deceptive practices. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA, comes into play in certain circumstances where an algorithm is used to deny people employment, housing, credit, insurance, or other benefits, such as with Facebook's ad targeting algorithm, which intentionally blocks certain users from viewing job vacancies or real estate ads for new home openings. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act makes it illegal for a company to use a biased algorithm that results in credit discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, age, or because a person receives public assistance. Moreover, the White House recently unveiled a blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, a vision for protecting our civil rights in the algorithmic age, reportedly issued by the Biden administration to empower people, companies, and policymakers to hold big technology accountable. The motion outlines data misuse, human considerations for opt-out clauses, and other forms of transparency as key steps moving forward. Expert Alina Glaubitz's senior thesis at the Yale Department of Political Science concurs, arguing for an algorithmic duty of care that incorporates a disparate impact assessment, determining the extent of any disproportionate adverse impact on a protected class. So with all of these preventative measures in place that aim to punish the misuse of AI by tech companies, how come most of the aforementioned lawsuits failed to gain traction in local or federal civil court circuits? Data. Data protection and misuse can often comprise valuable trade secrets, so ambiguity regarding liability in these cases can be difficult to assess. Is the company responsible, or the users themselves that provoke the algorithm with suggestive requests? As of the present, I seek to establish a legal diagnosis of human-induced data collection and pre-processing malpractice. Oftentimes, machines created by computer code will function exactly as the code dictates, and as the input samples from real-world events are curated. If evidence reveals that corporations have deliberately or unintentionally misrepresented empirical trends for certain types of datasets, or have not imposed safeguards onto the susceptibility of their products to dangerous public input, they will be deemed responsible for any ensuing harms. For example, if Google's Vision Cloud algorithm is investigated and litigators find that the deep learning model was trained on an image set consisting predominantly of African American men holding guns, liability can be attributed and punitive damages can be awarded to plaintiffs. If Musk's OpenAI, now valued at close to $20 billion, or Microsoft's Tay chatbot are discovered to have lackadaisically imposed precautions on user input, allowing for hateful discriminatory remarks to seep through their training systems, they can be deemed liable. Ultimately, software engineers implant and embed our societally inherent racist and sexist biases into the algorithms that shape human interaction. Perhaps this is the true moral of the story of Descartes, Francine, and Queen Christina. Our future discriminatory AI overlords will do exactly what we tell them to do, like clockwork. And this horrifying notion might just be what allows the sun to set on this golden age of civilizational technology.
All right, everyone, that is the conclusion of our article presentations. Lastly, we will present 3 awards for all the attendees of the conference. For the Best Article Award, we have Samanyu Ganesh with the article Liability Attribution in Civil Lawsuits Involving Discriminatory AI Algorithms in Light of Growing Ambiguity About Copyright Infringement Laws. For the Innovative Research Award, we have Chelsea Park with the article A Revolutionizing Solution to Medication Non-Adherence. For the AI Advocacy Award, we have Angela Sidhu with the article The Use of Artificial Intelligence in Weaponizing Social Media. We want to thank everyone who worked on a submission for the conference this year, as all articles were incredibly well thought out and made great points. I look forward to all of your continued study and participation in future AI-related projects.